No matter what happens in the world, nothing changes the fact that my kids are really important to me. I want to do everything I can for them. When my ex and I split, that meant child support payments, which was a struggle, but I was able to make them while I was working. And then I got busted, and I had to serve 8 years, which really messed things up. Because I didn't do anything about it, for 2 years I was still racking up payments. $340 a month, over $4,000 a year, just because I didn't understand the system. If I hadn't have asked for a change of my payment schedule, I would have been over $30,000 in the hole when I got out. And on top of that, I would still need to be making my monthly child support payments. Well, when I found that out, I thought they might as well just keep me in there, because basically it looked like I was screwed and I'd never be able to catch up with the payments. Well, guess what? Being locked up is considered a major change of circumstances. Yeah, no kidding. Well, this change of circumstances is good news in a way, though, because it means if you are supposed to pay child support right now while you're in, there is a possibility that you might be able to get your payments reduced or even stopped temporarily, and the state may forgive your debt to them. And if you're getting out soon, DSHS Division of Child Support will work with you to try to find a way to make your payments affordable so you don't lose 50% of your paycheck and can make a living. Don't get buried in debt, don't lose your driver's license, and don't go underground, break the law, and end up locked up again. But don't make my mistake and think this all happens automatically. You have to work to make it happen. And it's still not a guaranteed deal. You need to take the time to fill out the contact form, give them some paperwork, and then they will review your information to see if you meet all the requirements. It takes some work on your part, but I think it's worth it. So here's your choice. Do nothing and keep racking up child support payments that you can't afford now and won't be able to when you go home, or fill out the simple 2-page contact letter to see if you meet the requirements for child support to review and possibly get your payment schedule modified because of your change in circumstances. Yeah, I know what you're probably thinking. I used to think child support was against me too. And that may have been true in the past, I don't know. But when I got hold of them, they really wanted to work with me to make this all work out the best for everybody, especially my kids. I can remember looking at all the things I had to face: child support, time in jail, rehab, payments to the state, losing my license. It was crazy. This is why it is so important to stay in contact with your support enforcement officer when you get out, because they can help you a lot. When I got out, I got a decent job working with a contractor, and child support worked with me so my monthly payments are affordable until I can get things under control. So rather than looking at all the problems as one big pile of junk, I had to break them down into small things that could be taken care of one at a time. See, that way, at least things won't get any worse. Child support, the outgoing money, was my first concern. I wanted to try and get it lowered while I was in, and then keep it reasonable when I got out so I could help my kids some and still make a living. Hey, I'll be the first to admit it. A lot of it is about money, or the lack of. But the bottom line really is my kids. Now, I didn't get to see them at all while I was in, and I still don't get to see them much, which doesn't seem fair to me. But you know what? That doesn't have anything to do with child support enforcement. The courts deal with when you see your kids. Child support only deals with the money. If you've got visitation problems, you've got to take those up with the courts, not child support. My number one issue was definitely money. I couldn't afford those payments while I was in, and I was sure I couldn't afford that big a payment plus the back pay when I got out. But just blowing it off and not doing anything about it doesn't make it all go away. It just gets you in deeper. And it's not my kids' fault for all this, so there's no reason for me to take it out on them and just quit paying. That would be really unfair to them. I want to be able to help my kids, even if it's only a little bit right now. So, let's take a look at that big pile of junk you're facing and figure out where to begin. Now, the most obvious is child support, the money. As I said before, a change in payment doesn't happen automatically because you're locked up. Whether you just got in, have been in for a part of your sentence, or are just getting out, I suggest you get one of their contact forms and fill it out today.
don't put it off, because the longer you wait, the more money you'll owe, and that won't change. See, their form is kind of like a lottery ticket. See, if you don't buy the ticket, you can't win the money. Well, if you don't fill their form out, you don't have any chance of getting your payments reduced.
The form paid off big for me, because while I was in, my payments were reduced from $340 a month to $100. And when I got out and got my job, I started out at $125 a month, which really saved me. Oh, it's still a challenge, but I'm inching my way out. Anything's better than the 30 grand in back pay I would have owed.
So that's the first step. You fill out the form, get them the paperwork they need. If you do, and you meet the requirements, man, your life could be so much easier. Keep in mind, though, that even after filling out the form, it takes time. And you still need to work with the Division of Child Support to follow the process through to the end. And then keep in touch with them while you're in, once you're out in work release, and even when you're out in the community.
Once I got out of prison, I had several challenges to overcome. The biggest of which was to find a job and a steady income so I could regularly support my kids. The first thing you need to do is find out who your support enforcement officer is and stay in touch with them. He helped me get connected to various programs such as the Alternative Solutions program, which really helped me get back on my feet. My support enforcement officer connected me with resources for housing, education, training, and most importantly, a job. As a result, I was able to start working and over time increase the financial support for my kids.
I just wish somebody had told me about the contact form earlier and maybe saved me some hassles and money. But better late than never, I guess. So, get the form, fill it out, and turn it in. You got nothing to lose, and if you're like me, a whole lot to gain. Remember, the bottom line is that we have to help ourselves so we can ultimately help our kids. Because after all, isn't that what this is all about? Our kids? I better get back to work. I hope I helped you some.
You can get the contact letter from your corrections officer and from any Division of Child Support office. Or simply call 1-800-442-KIDS. That's 1-800-442-5437. They are also available online at childsupportonline.wa.gov.